Boom, hello, and welcome to the Protector Nation podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to making the world a better place, making the world a safer place by making good people dangerous. In this podcast, we're going to study and understand what it takes to protect your family, to protect your loved ones, because we all know that you have a few basic needs, food, water, and shelter, but you also have the need to protect those things in a world and society where evil runs rampant and is sometimes left unchecked. Learning how to protect yourselves and your loved ones is becoming more and more important. And so we strive to raise the level of accountability to those who would do evil on this planet by making sure that the sheep, that the flock, is more well-versed in protecting themselves and their loved ones. If that sounds interesting to you, then sit back and enjoy the show. Out.
Boom! Yo, what's up, you guys? Byron Rodgers here with an episode of the Protector Podcast. And today I've got a very, very special guest, RAZ Simone. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. Good to talk to you. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. So as some of y'all may not know, this is the warlord that took over Capitol Hill earlier today or like yesterday or whatever. I guess I'll start it off like this. So what you guys really don't know is me and Raz are actually related. So he's my cousin.
Yeah.
And we grew up in Washington State together. So I'm sitting here watching the news and I'm like, doing my usual, like the world is burning. It's like apocalypse, Jumanji, apocalypse bingo, Jumanji going down. I'm watching, I forget, it was like a Fox News thing. And they were talking about how Washington has like fallen and it's like this autonomous zone. And they were like, yo, and then the local warlord took over the spot. And then they got pictures of my cousin. And I'm like, oh my God.
It took barely a day for the nation of Chaz to get its first warlord. And it was quite a promotion for him. Just a week ago, RAZ Simone was an up-and-coming rapper. He was also a superhost for Airbnb. Now, he's a monarch. In videos taken within Chaz, Simone is seen patrolling the area with his allies. They have guns. They're declaring, "We're the police now." In one clip, the monarch's men assault a citizen of Chaz for spray painting graffiti inside the zone. Just like the mafia, Chaz doesn't put up with nonsense like that in their own neighborhood.
So I had to call him up, and he was just like, and then we were, so this is literally the conversation. We had like a quick talk, and I was like, yo, I got to do everything I can just to talk about what's really going on in Washington, and to make sure everybody knows who he really is. Because it really seemed like what I was seeing on the news, I was like, that's not my cousin. Like I gotta talk, I gotta see what's going down. So, man, With no further ado, man, how you living out there?
I'm doing well. I think it's a good thing that happened to me and not someone else, because things just don't bother me much. I'm not tripping about people's opinions. The only thing is people's perception can quickly become your reality. So that's why I think conversations like this are very important, because if you perceive me to be this one thing, you perceive me to be some terrorist threat, then, I would, that's a dangerous implication. So, if I were on the other side, I would be trying to take me out too, if that's what I heard.
Right? Like I was literally sitting there eating my food and I was like, man, if I had a little bit more time, shoot, I go down to Washington and fix this thing myself. And then I was like, I know my cousin's down there. I was like, I need to hit him up and see what's going down. And then we're on the news, just the thought of people, declaring this, it's like a quasi invasion, what's it been like out there on the streets, man? Well, first of all, give me the blow by blow of what you've been experiencing, everything you were saying to me earlier when we first connected.
Yeah. I think the people need to wake up and know and understand that the mainstream media is not any of our friends. They're all pushing different agendas. And one of the biggest ones is to try to entertain. It's all like these taglines like terrorist warlord, RAZ Simone, rapper turned terrorist warlord. Like, they call me a monarch on Fox News, bro.
Now he's a monarch.
They
like,
did. I was like, yo, my cousin, come on.
right? I'm like, hey, we'll take it. But no, no,
Right.
so I think people have to understand that I don't give a fuck about politics, period. I'm not right or left or anything. Honestly, I don't fuck with any of that. I'm an American. And if I hated America, I would have left and gone somewhere else. I've had lots of other opportunities to go other places, So does that mean that America's perfect? No. And so that's why we should stand for what's right. I don't stand for just black rights or this or that. I've been out supporting my Native Americans, trying to support women's rights and standing up for children and things like that. I just stand up for what's right. And I'm a mediator. I like to try and mediate things and listen to people's views and try to figure out how we can piece them together. But I'm always going to protect people. I don't care what you believe in, even if you hate me, I'm still going to be there to try to protect people. That's how I've always been. I was always a person that when people try to bully people in school, I was trying to, stop the bullies. If they kept on doing it, then, maybe give them a little nudge in the gut, or whatever,
Right.
But I'm always just a natural protector, and that's why this is crazy to me. I've been on the microphone giving thanks to all of the military. I was saying thank you to the National Guard as we were standing on what seemed opposing sides, just saying, we appreciate your service. I know you guys are, your hands are tied. You guys are coming out to do whatever jobs that you're supposed to do. We appreciate you, signing that dotted line. Most of you guys doing it when you're 17, 18 years old and being out there. My cousin, was in it, Marine, all that stuff. And I appreciate him, like my uncles and all that stuff. I appreciate them, and so that's crazy to me. I'm definitely an American. I'm a permitted concealed weapons carrier. I advocate for gun rights and I actively exercise my right to bear arms pretty much every day, and honestly, I feel like it was kind of a learning experience because what the call was, I didn't bring out any assault rifles for the first week or two or something like that. The only time I did was when we were listening to the police scanners and we were getting calls that there were 30 what they said 30 white supremacists. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? But they said, this is a police scanner saying 30 white supremacists marching with assault rifles up towards, our location. And so then I said, all right, well, I'll bring out my, my AR-15 or my whatever and just protect the people that are here. And that was that, and that's the only thing, just protecting people. And it's not protecting the people that believe my beliefs or whatever, because you have to understand there are so many people there with various reasons of being there. And I do not stand, I'm not the spokesperson, I'm not the leader of all these people. There's so many different schools of thought. There are people that might be there for the right reasons because they want to, or, that might be there for let's say, okay, the majority of the people that are there want accountability for police and for law enforcement and all the way up to politicians and all of that, and I think that that's reasonable. If you mess up and you kill 3 unarmed people, in a year span of, 5-year span, I think there should be some accountability. You're not even getting fired or charged like a regular human being. So the majority of people are there for that. But then there are other people who are there just to get off whatever rage that they've got or whatever. And that's where, us as good human beings should be mindful of them and trying to de-escalate them and, don't do that. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Having to be mindful, and I like to not say the word policing, but having everyone hold themselves accountable and not be complacent and watch the people who are trying to start up things. Most people aren't trying to start up any mess. Most people are just running around spray painting, stupid. Might be one person that's going around with one spray can and spraying Chaz around places, and now everyone's calling us Chaz. I am not a part of Chaz. I don't know what that means. Like I do not believe, I'm not a sovereign citizen. I'm not autonomous or whatever. The only thing that was, I was like waiting for autonomous cars. You know, I think like self-driving cars. That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, no, that would be tight. That would be tight. Get a lot of work done in the car. You know, I'm all about that.
That'd be tight. But I'm a realist, and what the fuck do I look like coming to a war with a fucking pin and crisscross applesauce and let's say what else? Let me see. Maybe a little knife coming to a war that has nuclear bombs and all kinds of assault rifles. Like, I am not going to war with America. Like, how stupid do you think that I am? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no, that's just one of those things to
that's
get
not
out
you.
of there.
Well, and that's kind of what kind of got me alarmed was like, I'm eating my dinner and I'm like, yo, me and the homies go down to Washington. We can fix this whole thing in a few days. And then I'm like, man, I gotta hit my cousin up. And then I see the news and they're talking about the whole thing. And I'm like upset, right? Now, but this is how dangerous it is, you know, because I'm sitting here and I'm like upset. And, you know, I think we just don't realize sometimes how they frame things and how it can play you. It can play you. And even me, like being ultra free-minded, you know me, man, I'm neither. I'm just, me and you, we have these conversations. I'm the same way. I'm like, look, none of these things are really for us. Yeah, I mean, generally they're for power, you know. So I'm very hesitant, especially after the Marine Corps and how I saw they reported on us in Iraq and stuff. I'm really hesitant. And even I was like, yo, I can't believe this is going down in Washington. And I was like, yo, me and the homies might have to go down there if they're going to like really like take over land in America. And like, that's like an act of war as far as I'm concerned. And then all of a sudden they call you this warlord and then you're on the thing. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. And I'm like, thank God I know that. Thank God this is my cousin, you know what I mean? Because it shows really quickly, and especially once I called you and you started talking to me, how the media, it's like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. It's like they're pushing us into this divisive back and forth civil issue. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's crescendoing, you know, constantly. And it's like, you really have to keep a cool mind. And
they've been turning it up, bro. They've been turning it up. Because, you know, we have these conversations and I don't think that we're in disagreements about much. And anything that we are, we probably appreciate it because we're different people with different minds. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Fine.
So
like, we can talk about it, and then we could have like a bowl of chicken or whatever. Well, I eat chicken, you had some salad, whatever. Yeah, you know I mean? Like,
I eat chicken. I eat chicken.
Chicken. All right, cool. So I know you be making them salads and stuff.
I fuck with my greens. You know, hearty greens though. I'm not no salads. They're greens, not salads.
Okay. That's what's up. But no.
Go ahead.
No, but like that was kind of just another example of, you know, we really have to be really careful about what information we take so seriously coming, especially from the mainstream media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were saying some other things too about how like how things kind of went down. So like, were you guys like the police were you guys trying to maintain order in some respects? Or like, did the police run out like with the hair on fire because the building was burning down? Like how did this go down, bro?
This is where I urge people to take a moment and use your sense. I know it isn't common. I know that it's been escaping all of us.
Right.
But use some logic. Do you think that we came in there with our hands up, don't shoot? You know, people were doing the hands up, don't shoot. And I don't even like saying that, but you know, you think people came up and did that and the police were like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared, we're running out of here. Like, oh,
nah, man, they made it sound like it was a hostile takeover. Like y'all went in there with rifles and was like, "Yo, we're taking Capitol Hill. Get out!" Like,
and you think that 1,300 police officers that are on duty, mixed with 1,000 National Guard that got sent out here to play out here? Do you think that 1,000 National Guard and 1,300 police officers said, "Oh my goodness, Raz, I'm so scared, Raz the rapper,"
and they ran off,
and then they ran and just like put their head between their fucking knees? No. So you have to use logic. Now, I have a good relationship now. I had a good relationship with the fire chief. So this whole time that this has been going on, been talking with the fire chief every fucking day. He's texting me all the time. Been talking with the leader of the SPU, the public utilities, you know, trying to make sure that all of the regular things are happening every day, that people can still get their service and everything, because So the only reason why we even put the barricades up, and I started to raise money, or I took money out of my own pocket to buy some barricades, to put barricades up. Only reason why was because after the 5th time that a car came driving through protesters, like hitting protesters, this is the 5th time someone drove through protesters and then hopped out and then shot one of the protesters. Shot him, and then like went and ran behind the police, and the police like just like walked him away. So after that happened, I said, okay, fuck that. I'm here to protect people. That's my job. That's literally my job. I don't want that to be my job. It's just natural. I'm naturally an alpha male. I'm a protector. That's what it is. I don't care who you are. I'm there to protect you. So after that happened, now I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck all that. So I'm going to buy 44,000 pounds worth of concrete barricades and take the forklift off the farm and go and drive and drop those shits off with the flatbed and then take that back over here. You know what I mean? Like I had a whole thing. I had to go drive the flatbed over to there, then have them forklift it on, then take it back to the farm, take the forklift. I had a whole fucking plan to take this out. But then the SDOT had gotten in contact with me. So leader of SDOT, you know, all that, the roads and everything was like, yo, we'll come in, we'll bring in barricades to, you know, to help protect whatever. So then now I'm having a conversation this is in the morning, 7 a.m. or something like that, having a conversation with the fire chief saying, hey, we want that because we want you guys to be safe, but we also need to think of the other side of safety. We need proper egress and ingress. And I'm like, exactly, great. And then also for utilities and all that stuff, for garbage truck guys to get in and out for the residents. We need that. We need to figure out a whole solution for that. So I literally have like 5 of these government officials and the mayor's assistant now all running up to me. Hey, Raz, what do we need here? Can we do this? Hey, Raz, how do you feel about this? What do you want? Hey, can we do this? And I'm literally like, why are you asking me what you can and can't do? I'm not like...
You're like, I'm not in charge. Raz is the mayor of the city.
You know, they're treating me like I'm the fucking mayor. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'll say, hey, I'm not the leader, but hey, how does everybody feel? Okay, I'm trying to check in with all the local businesses and all of the people, because now it's like I can't just keep saying, hey guys, I'm not a leader. Hey guys, I'm not a leader. Hey, I'm not of this. Hey, I'm not of that.
Nah.
It is what it is. You guys, for some reason, every single person in the city, the police chief wants to come down and have a conversation with me. The police chief, neighboring police chiefs, the police chief in Bellevue is like, yo, Raz, why aren't you? I'm trying to have a conversation with you, bro. I sent flowers and you know, You know, all these people are coming at me. So I'm sitting here and it's like a circle of you guys that just all came around the same time. And they're all asking me, what should we do about the porta potties? How should we do this? Should we put the trash cans over here so we can collect them over there? Okay, the fire. Yeah, I'm like, leave it. How much space do we need for, you know, the width of a fire truck to get through? Okay, 9 feet. That sounds about right. Let's give them 13 feet. Okay, yeah, you know, so we'll make 13 feet, you know, whatever, crisp zigzags for the barricades, you know, and all that. So it was just all about safety and actual communication with everyone. So it's not we're doing this or whatever. These people are all coming up here straight to me. Some of them bearing gifts, whatever, but we're all just having conversation and communication about what should be done to keep everyone safe. So I feel like we're all on the same board, that we're all here for the safety of all people. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what that was. And so now I'm literally walking into the police chief. So then that was our goal. But then after certain little threats of random organizations that have nothing to do with me, because I'm not a part of any organization, but random organizations that the rest of everyone that's there do not agree with, we're trying to run in and break into the police precinct. And we're like, yo, it's not the time for that. The mayor and the police, everyone was saying, hey, we might just give this to the city and make this some type of center where we can, you know, where we can have some better relationship with the protectors of the city and the civilians, and or we might make it this or that. There's 60,000 square feet in there. Who knows what we could do with it? Those are the conversations. This is not a hostile takeover. The mayor is having these conversations with everyone. So we're saying, hey, you dumbass, don't try to run in there, because there are conversations happening. I understand that you might be upset. I also understand that you might be completely just here to fuck up the whole movement.
The whole thing, like mess the whole thing up.
To just try to put a wrench in here and that's it, because you just want to see destruction of everything and everyone.
Yeah.
You know, And that's not what we're about. So then the next key goal for me, myself, because I'm the only person I can speak for, was to protect the precinct. So I'm on the news saying like, you know, they're giving us a thumbs up. The first time I've seen, you know, a black man with an assault rifle in his hand standing there, and the news is saying, yo, these guys are the protectors of the precinct. They're protecting the people.
Wow.
We love them. That's what the news was saying about yesterday or the day before. They're saying like, RAZ Simone is out here protecting the precinct and protecting the people. And then they're showing my conversations with the fire department, fire chief, and we're all we fuck with each other heavy. And they're even showing the slightly tense conversation with the police chief. And that was nothing crazy. I'm just saying, hey, I understand how it must be hard for you in the position that you're in. I'm trying to empathize with you. Especially being a black woman that's a police chief. I'm sure that must be, there's a lot of things going on with that. But I am just curious. My personal question is just about accountability, you know, and then also what discretion that you have and where your hands are tied. Because I'm not a fan of yelling at all or yelling at people, and I'm not a fan of, you know, coming at someone that has no power to change anything. Like if you don't have power to change something, why am I going to yell at you? I want to respectfully say, hey, do you have like a higher up that I could talk to about this? And then talk to them, and if they say, hey, sorry, fuck you, then I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. You know?
We'll find another way or something.
Yeah, figure out another way. So I just said, hey, my question is for accountability. You know, we have an officer out here who shot an unarmed man with a baby in his hand. An unarmed man with a baby in his hand. This happened about 3 weeks ago now. He's an unarmed man with a baby in his hand, and the officer shot him in the back of the head. And the baby fell on the ground, and they picked it up like a fish. And yeah, really bad. You know what I'm saying?
Golly, that's bad.
So
that's horrible.
My beef is not with police officers. You know, our uncle was the first black chief of police in Tacoma, you know?
Yep.
So my beef is not with police officers. My beef is with the system that does not correct that. You know, everyone says, what about, you know, one bad apple, you spoiling the bunch. Like, why are you coming down on the whole bunch for one bad apple? It's not about that. I'm not saying fuck all of you apples. I'm saying that whatever store or farm that these apples are coming from, the standard of it is not
of the
great.
Apples.
We've got so many worms running around. We need to fix that. You know what I'm saying? I know handfuls of officers that that seem to be good people, or that I know personally that are good people, that mean well, that have good intentions. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the system that allows the bad apples to flourish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
Officers that have shot 3 or 5 different unarmed people in the last decade and had no repercussions, not even fired, not charged like a regular human being, you know, and definitely not convicted. So that's what I'm talking about. That's very un-American to me. That's very un-American.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
So that's all I'm saying. And that was my question for her. And then she, you know, and that was that. And so anyways, we've been in communication. She came by herself. That was the first time she came by herself and requested a meeting with RAZ Simone. And we spoke. You know, there's no issues. There's no one's trying to hostilely be like, let's take her over. Now we'll have leverage, you know.
Let's kidnap the chief.
There's none of that going on. It's literally communications every day. And I'm just communicating and mediating situations and then protecting the precinct, because protecting the precinct means protecting the people and protecting everything that everyone had been marching for, which in my opinion is accountability. Everyone that's there is just kind of rocking with the Black Lives Matter movement because it is the one that has created momentum. But not many people like the sentence. It's just like, that's what it is. But the sentence is one that is abrasive and then needs further explanation if people don't quite get it. Because everyone that's saying Black Lives Matter out there, at least unanimously with people that I spoke to, also believes that all lives matter. But when we say all lives matter, we say, duh. That's something that is not debatable. And we've already figured that out. But we're just looking at statistics and saying that statistically, Black lives have been affected more than, you know, in a crazy
like the
rate from when it comes to death by police. And that does not mean so the number, but and my thing is it's about all people. But you're wondering why is it affecting this community more? And that's just a numbers thing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not just like, yo, I'm only here to make it so the police stop killing black people and not white people. No, I want the police to stop, whatever bad apple police officers are killing people and then having no repercussions. I want that to stop. I don't care if you're purple. I don't care what it is. But for some reason, on top of that, and this is what I'm saying when we're talking about people that are saying Black Lives Matter, the movement, for some reason, you're 3 times more likely as a black man to die by the hands of a police officer, even if you're unarmed. And even that I hate, because you can still be armed and not be doing bad things. But now we're only advocating for unarmed people, unarmed black men that get killed. Like, what if you are armed, but you're not over here doing any kind of crazy shit? So it's like, anyways, no innocent people, no people that are not, brandishing weapons and trying to shoot them at, whatever.
Should be dying.
Should be dying. Period. But, and the thing is that, because I think each year it's like around 500 white men die by the hands of police, and around 400 and something, it's almost 500 and 500 black men die from the hands of police each year. And that's rough. Like, go Google that shit and check the sites. But about the same amount of black men and white men die each year by the hands of police. But there's only 7% black people in all of America. It's very low.
I want to say it's some 13% of black people, but then there's some statistics that aren't necessarily in our favor with regards to like homicides and violent crimes and.
Oh no! Hey, we already know all the when it comes to black on black crime, that's high. White on white crime is high too, but that's a proximity thing. It's because people in those neighborhoods know each other, so they're killing each other. That's why white on white crime is high too. But we also know that you can go super deep if you want to go into all of the guns and drugs and how that stuff got in here and all that stuff and everything. And that's a whole mess, how the media portrays things and how it just keeps on going and going. I think
what's causing a lot of the friction is the fact that like they be playing Black Lives Matter on repeat while they're burning down the dang country. And so like as I press rewind in my head and I look at the messaging and stuff like that, it's like the Black Lives Matter term gets highly weaponized.
Yes, it was.
It was. So now you sit here and you say Black Lives Matter, and now you're almost guilty of everything everyone's been watching on the news. They're like, oh, you're one of them cats that's been burning down burning down the country because
it's guilt by association, Alex.
Yeah. And it's
messed up because most of the people that you see are these like little teenager white boys and girls who are running in and doing all the burning and the this and the that.
The little antifa dudes.
So it's not the people that are sitting here and being like Black Lives Matter. But again, if my thing is all about unity, I believe that we only have one race because because we're human. It's a human race. You know what I'm saying? Like This is not the fucking 1800s. We know some more things. We've dissected bodies. Like we know there's only one human race. You can come from different places. We're all mixed up and stuff like that. I mean, especially if you are a scientist, you can see that we're all humans. And if you believe, if you are a Darwinist, you can see that we're all humans. If you are a Christian, you can see we're all humans and we come from the same place. I think unanimously everyone believes that everyone came from Africa. All the rivers in the Bible are all over crossing in that area. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all the same. So that's my thing is trying to bridge these gaps and bring people together, protect the people. It's pretty simple. Just the number one things that we were supposed to learn when we were a kid. What's it called? Do unto others. The golden rule, man. Yeah. Stand up for what's right. Yeah. And just
treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's pretty much it.
Things. Yeah, that's literally what I've been getting up and preaching is simple things,
Yeah. I think that's the message that the world needs because I feel like we're never gonna fix it. If the prejudice, racism, if it really is such a big thing, it's not gonna be fixed by acts of violence or fear. Yeah, I mean, like anytime I come in contact or have come in contact or this is the first thing I'll say. I noticed that the issue that I have is people are afraid of me. Like I might have white, if I, like we were just talking, like I park my car with one of my homies in the car and we're just having a conversation. Somebody calls the cops. They're like, we thought something was going down. You know what I mean? Cop rolls up, you know what I'm saying? And we got to do the dance or whatever. And I'm like, hey, sir. And I'm respectful, totally cool. Once he sees that I'm not a threat and it's all good, he's good. I wave at the people who called the cops. They're like, oh, we just thought it looked suspicious, da-da-da-da-da. Now, this is where, as a black man, you're like, yeah, I thought it looked suspicious because I'm black. That's why. But then there's another part of my mind that goes, you know what? If I look around, most of the suspicious activity in my neighborhood is happening from people that look like me. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's like a two-part issue there sometimes. And then on top of that, I find that it's not necessarily a racist thing. Because when I address them, they're like, hey, sorry, it just looked weird to us. That doesn't mean I hate you because you're black. That means
no.
I was. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Like
no,
I was
see what you're saying,
but
that's where the issue is, because that, and I hate to say these words that keep on getting used so much, so then they don't mean much. But that's where it's a systematic issue. So it doesn't mean that person is racist. That's why I'm not mad at people. What I'm trying even when people do like prejudice things, I'm not saying you're a prejudiced person. No, we're all prejudiced. You fucking
everybody.
When I see
profiling, you're
always going to profile that, because that's how our human brains work, right?
It's a survival mechanism.
It is. But the issue is that. So, have you ever seen the doll test? There's a doll test where you take these little kids, they're like 5 years old or whatever the fuck, and you show them two different dolls. You put a doll on the left hand and a doll on the right side of them. It's a white doll and a white skin doll and a black skin doll, or a brown skin doll, what do you want to call it, and then you say, which doll is the nice doll? And they all point to the white doll. Doesn't matter if they're a black kid, they're a white kid, they're Mexican, Puerto Rican, French, they all point to the white doll pretty much, like 80, 90% of them. Which doll is the pretty doll? All point to the white doll. Which doll is, the doll that would steal? They all point to the black doll. Which doll is the mean doll? Black doll. Then they say, which doll looks most like you? And all of the kids that aren't the palest pink, like the palest white people, they all point to the black doll. Even these like little Mexican kids, even these little like Asian kids will point to the black doll. So it's like this internalized racism thing going on there, and then the systematic thing. So when you break that down, though, when you look at the majority of the heroes that you get to have when you come up, they're mostly white males. They're mostly this, they're mostly that. You don't see, a lot of times you don't see like an Asian male, hero for you, or or this or that, or a black guy. Who want to be the fucking Black Ranger? You got representation.
Well, I wanted to be, but he was kind of cheesy, man.
He's a bitch.
I know. Like, I'm still half the black superheroes that I see on TV. I'm like, why they had to pick this dude, man? Like, what's his name with Iron Man, the other dude? Like, I like him as an actor.
Yeah, we don't even know him. We don't fuck
I don't know if he's like, that's our superhero that we get. Like, that's the dude. Not
fucking with it. You know what I mean?
Like, I like him. He's cool, but you know what I mean? Anyways.
So it's a mixture of that, and then what you see in the media, like, I mean, if you just look back, you go back like 50 years or whatever, even less, and propaganda always falls apart. Once you start seeing propaganda, you see it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like when you see all the
especially
like whatever
after
propaganda
time goes by.
After time goes by. So look at some of the stuff. They're like, they say, they have all propaganda they put out there, like black men are all rapists. They're going around, they're looting our country. Like, back in the day, what's that one movie that came out? There's all kinds of this propaganda that was put out there. And then what happens with propaganda is just like a stereotype. People start feeding into it. So, once so many people have told you that this is what you are, then sometimes you start being that. You know what I'm saying? And so now you have people that are like, yo, I'm a gangster. Almost like, bro, you were the first person that showed me 50 Cent. Remember that shit?
Right. Yeah.
You start listening to that shit. You start wanting to be that shit. People were like, yo, I want to get shot 9 times now.
This is.
Bro, I listen. I saw how that shit hyped you up, bro. So don't play with me. I remember you got me that burnt.
This is getting into something. I was get rich or die trying, son. No, this is hilarious.
That's just real.
We're getting into something that I was really, really. So one of the things that I've noticed is I find more often than not, people are scared of me than it is that they hate Black people. That's something that I've been able to really help people with. And that's something I want Black people to consider sometimes when they're dealing with people that are a little bit like hesitant, right? The other thing that I think, if there is one way that I really believe the Black community has been really actually wrong, it's kind of what you're talking about right now. I feel like sometimes we're the only society that like we take, like, I feel like they went and they got people in our society that like, there was no like, I don't even listen to rap other than what you put out. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because nobody's saying anything. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of it is, for years, they would take people that were not good examples and they would put them up on a stage and they would blast out those people's message, and they made those people rich and famous, and they made those people icons, and they made those people have the girls, the cars, the clothes. They didn't do this to any other cultures. And I believe that was really what deconstructed our culture, because now we had generations growing up. Because you remember when we were growing up, grandma, mom would be like, yo, you need to be twice as smart. You need to be twice as fast. You need to be twice as strong to get half as much credit. And I remember working my butt off. Yeah, I mean, just being like, I'm Black, so I need to work twice as. And then this whole kind of generation came out of like, everybody was trying to be thugs, and everybody, because what we saw was this culture, like it was glorified. Like, and it legitimately destroyed, and it destroyed those values. And now I got these like young kids coming up without dads thinking like, this is what I want to be. And I'm like, no, this isn't Black culture. It's what was shown to you in order to enslave us in many different ways. This isn't you. Like my big sister's like, yo, I'm not changing who I am for nobody. I'm like,
but that's not you.
Exactly. Like this is an avatar. This is monkey see, monkey do. They created this and gave it to you, and now you're enslaved by it. You know, and it kills me, because it's like, now you're going to live with the results of their idea of what your culture should be like that was disempowering from the beginning.
Exactly. And that's where, and you have to realize that, you know, and that the people that helped to propagate that, the people that helped be the catalyst of that and or give those stages to people are those people that, one, you know, want to make extra money off of controversial media, and two, want to be able to mess up the, you know, that the community, mess up the Black community and keep it at bay and keep it down and keep them oppressed. You know what I'm saying? So some people are just in it for the money, and they're like, shoot, this is a good tagline. They're not even thinking of it that much. I'm about to get paid off of someone else's downfall. Who cares? And then some people are like, you know what, fuck these guys specifically. You know, and sometimes it's a mixture of the two. But you can go back, just look back through some of these old things, and you can see that it is, you cannot be so naive to think that this was not planned out, that this was not put together, that who gave these voices to people, who started spinning this. You can start looking at the root of it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. I don't, you know, subscribe.
And like,
this is just
like
very common sense. It's logical. You can
like,
break it down and see the timestamps.
We're not sitting here trying to get people to agree with us. I don't want people necessarily to think. I don't want people to think like me. I want them to learn how to think. Like, I want them to be like, you know what? Hold up. Like, this is weird. Let me look into it. You know what I mean? Let me look into the origin of television and what it was actually designed for, and where they actually got the idea from, you know, and find out that it, you know, Hitler and them. And
I'm the same way. You don't have to think like me, just please think. Yeah.
And know what you believe, and know why you believe it, and be able to have an intelligent conversation with me about it, and I'll respect you.
Exactly. And that's the other reason too. So for me, what freaked the fuck out of me was everyone saying abolish police. Do you know why that's freaky? Because then what happens with domestic violence is what happens with children and this and rape and all this stuff. Now, but check this though. Now, but I can't be mad at the people that are saying defund and abolish, but I'm also saying, well, what the fuck are you guys gonna do?
Right.
I get that this system has not been working. And now check it. The system doesn't work like that for the majority of people because it was created for a certain specific purpose. And it's kept on doing that same thing. Now, do you know that, the police force that we know today were created to wrangle slaves. After 1864, when the abolishing slavery happened, then what happened was right after that, those years to come, you started seeing these police forces come up. And you have the 13th Amendment. They created a caveat that all men are free unless you are a criminal. So then what they created, what people sometimes call slave laws, like loitering. If you're standing around somewhere that you don't own, if you are a freshly freed slave, you don't own shit. So if you're standing anywhere, you're loitering. Now to jail with you. And so then you have these pictures of all these big families of little kids and babies and moms and dads, all in white and black stripes, ball and chain. Instead of the slave chains that they have, they've got these prison chains, and now they're doing more work for free, and they can still have slavery. And we still have that nowadays, but because we have a lot of people that are innocent in there. We have a lot of people for minor charges that aren't anything crazy or in there. People doing life for marijuana, stuff like that. But now it's not just black slaves, it's black slaves, white slaves, Mexican slaves, Asian slaves, all kinds of slaves in there, people doing that. Now, of course, there are some people that should rot away or maybe probably just not exist. But then there are other people who that's not the best thing. And we've already learned, I'm just looking at statistics. We already know that statistically, when you go to prison, you're probably going to go back to prison. We know that American prisons are not made to make our really world a better place.
Yeah.
They're not made for rehabilitation. They're made so you'll go in there, learn some new criminalistic tactics, come out and terrorize more people, and then go back in there and then come back out again.
I think what you said too, that's really important, that something I've been trying to draw people's attention to, knowing that it's an election year, knowing that, this isn't checkers. Like
that part too,
there's a pain point that I believe they're trying to get us to focus on. The reality, though, of this game, I think, is what you said is that the rich and the most powerful people, it ain't about white and black. It ain't about purple, yellow, orange. There's rich people and there's poor people. And that's what this is really, really, really about. And the more they can keep us fighting each other down here, the less we can actually do things that are good for us. And the more we can keep playing the Pepsi and Coca-Cola game, what I'm saying? The more, and we just simply sit here and fight amongst ourselves. When we actually have.
I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because I'm glad you brought that up because that has been one of the main things I've talked about. But we're going over all these other bullshit issues and accusations and shit. So there's so much. But that's been one of the main things I keep on telling people. Every time I get up, I keep on spreading a message of unity. Anytime I hit the mic, I'm saying, we're all in this together right now. They don't give a fuck about you, even the palest of faces in here. They don't give a fuck about any of us.
They don't care about the cops. They don't care about nobody.
They don't care about the cops, all that. It's not about white or black. And I keep on saying, I don't know how many times I've said this, probably 200 times in these last week. This is not a race war.
Right.
They want this to be a race war so bad. Yeah. There's only one race. That was one of the things I chant. I'm like, how many races are there? And they'll be like, there's one. I'm like, I said, what race? Human race, bro. It is a rich and a poor, and not the rich where you got a couple $1 million or $10 million.
You're still poor.
Even $100 million, you're still poor. They don't give a fuck about that. We're talking about the extremely rich, and they have made this thing where they try to make it seem that alt-right people are against the left, and the left
and that they're racist,
the right, and that the alt-right is racist and all that stuff. And
the alt-left is anti-American. They be trying to make it so like this when it's really most people are in here.
Bro.
They disagree over a couple things, but we're here.
And it's so bad, it's so disgusting. I hate seeing it because now they got all us confused and they're bickering about things that don't even matter. Well, they can keep on doing the thing. We know statistically the wealth gap keeps getting more and more and more. And that's not just the black wealth gap or the white or the purple
Latino
wealth gap. That's the everyone. The poor white people are getting poorer and poorer. The poor black people are getting poorer and poorer. And the rich people are getting richer and richer. And there's a certain once you get so rich, color doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be at that point. And I'm sure you can be surgically even, but just quite literally, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be at that point.
And you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. Yeah. If we're pushing anything, let that be known to people. That's the new movement where we need to put that shit down and start understanding. And the other thing I kept on saying is dialogue like this, having these dialogues. Because most of the time when you disagree with someone, most of the time you really don't disagree much. It's just that you're shouting this and they're shouting this and then it's dead and you can't, so it's annoying. We've had some alt-right people come over to the places. We've had some people, some politicians that are Republicans that are, all kinds of stuff come in and let them speak. You had some people that are, mostly the white people that are super like angry. They're like, shut up, fuck you, you know? And I'm sitting like, hey, let them speak. Like,
Yeah, like,
no
why
more
you think
cancel,
that?
no more
I'm the same
cancel
way.
culture. Fuck cancel culture.
Right.
Like, let them speak. Let's have a dialogue. And to be honest right now, fuck political correctness. Fuck PC police. Fuck them to death. Fuck all that shit. I'm so tired of that. I can appreciate that it's created it had created some spaces where people understand that, yo, it's not cool to just say like, you know, call someone retarded or call someone this or whatever, because you might really like, you know, hurt someone that's not as
shouldn't be hurt,
strong or mentally strong as you, or that shouldn't be hurt. Someone that should be protected, you know?
Right.
So I can appreciate for that, but there needs to be a new movement and a new conversation. It needs to be a conversation.
Honesty.
No more of this, you're a cis white male, so don't speak. You're this and that, so don't speak. You're because you aren't, you know, because you're this, because you're that, because you're not that, you're this. Like, stop all these rules, bro. Like, there's no, just, if you're a human, like, that is what it is. Just respect people. It's simple respect. You know, if I meet some, you know, some black person that's so tired, this is like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Don't talk to me about shit. You know, go research your own things and don't ask me about black problems. I don't represent all the black community. Please just talk to someone else. Then respect them. But that doesn't mean just shut up to everyone. Go talk to another person that's black if you want to get some research, and maybe like, honestly, I'm glad you asked. This is how I feel. I don't represent all black people, but da 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 da. You know, like, let's stop making it. It's just like bitch ass culture, bro. Stop doing it. Like, stop being a bitch. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Blank.
And you should be interested in anyone who disagrees with you. Because that's the only way. That's how I am. That's how we both are, right? Like, this is the only way you arrive at higher truth. This is the only way you even find out if your argument is even worth anything. Is if you get in the ring and you have a conversation with somebody and you see if it holds up. If it doesn't hold up, you should respectfully be like, man, I didn't even think about it like that. Like, you know what I mean? And then just be like, now maybe I'm a little smarter. and I have more perspective. Like, and that's supposed to be the whole game. You know what I mean? But this feeling-centric culture we have has sheltered people to the point where they
you said this what centric culture? Say it again.
Feelings, emotion-centric culture that we have has made it real difficult for the emotional intelligence of Americans. And this is another really deep issue that's really been really upsetting me, especially while I was in my graduate courses, is Americans have been dumbed down. We've been getting participation trophies in school. Our curriculum is absolute crap. Americans aren't reading. Everything's getting easier. We're on a diet of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are sitting there, their brains are turned into mush while they watch TV shows. And they don't realize like, television was originally designed to be the most powerful propaganda machine the world has ever seen. Your brain goes into alpha state. You literally sit there. You're not agreeing with what you're seeing, but your guard's down and it's imprinting on the back of your mind and your subconscious mind, which is a 1 million times stronger information processor than your focal conscious mind. You don't realize it. People don't realize it, but they're educated by TV. That's why when something comes out through the TV, it has so much more authority because their brain's been learning this whole time. Like, they focally know, oh, this is television. But the back of their brain is like, this is experiential information that I use to navigate the world with, because it literally has been the mechanism that has been giving me information my entire life. And so we have a whole generation who's it's hard for them to critically think about anything. It's hard for them to manage their emotions. These higher level things are gone. And we got these other countries, kids are working, going to school 7 days a week. You know what I mean? 12-hour days, but getting all these high-level degrees. They're hungry. They're hard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very afraid for America. You can show an American facts, and it won't even faze them if they're emotionally invested in their argument. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's amazing to me. It's scary.
And it's all sides. It's all sides. It's not just left or right or whatever. Like, I really want to break that shit down, because the thing is that there are some things that I'm like, okay, I see your point. I don't even look at these policies. I don't look at any of that stuff right now. Maybe I should probably be better with that. Maybe I probably, but honestly, it's like, to me sometimes. But so when I hear word of things, I'm like, oh, I could see that being a positive thing, and then I go on the other side. I'm like, oh, I really like that. Okay. I like that. Like, I like like being able to carry my gun, and I like having less
I gotta be able to
restrictions
protect
on that.
myself. Yeah,
I like to be the whole just being able to take care of yourself. If you need to form a militia because some outsider is coming in, or someone is trying to be Hitler or something like that, or whoever whatever one of those guys taking over.
At some point in time, it's gonna happen again.
So for us to be able to ban, we don't want to be harmless. We just want to be peaceful, capable of extreme acts of violence, capable of protecting ourselves. But we're not doing extreme acts of violence. We are protecting ourselves. Peaceful.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I love that, the gun rights and all that stuff. Do I want to tax the poor more than the rich? Probably not, even if I'm super rich, because that just doesn't seem right. And you know what I'm saying? So there's little things like that on both sides, because you have these Republican guys coming in here and acting like they're for the people, acting like they're for middle class, like hardworking, the farmers like us and the whatever and stuff like that. They're acting like they're for that, but then they're actually these rich like fucks that don't give a fuck about anyone. And then you have these left Democrat guys they've been fucking shit up heavily, acting like they care about black people, acting like, are you fucking
wearing dashikis?
Bruh.
Around the night dashikis.
Man, we seen statistically, we saw what happened, during the Clinton administration, and and how you guys ravaged black communities and came in there with the Trojan horse and acted like you were there, acted like we're here for the people. And you look back on that propaganda and it looks fucked up. But in the time, everyone's like, it was hot. Mm-hmm. It's like they care, So both sides are just fucking predatorial and have a bunch of money, and you know what the fuck happens. Like, so people need to wake up and converse and stop the dumbing down. Like, turn the TV off a little bit more. Turn your phone off a little bit more. Read a book. Research. Have a conversation with someone that disagrees with you, and let it be a conversation and not an argument.
Yeah, Martin Luther King, he said it best. He was like, we're either going to learn to live as brothers, which I think is perfect because, you're probably the closest thing to a brother I ever had, you know what I'm saying? And I forgive you for that time you broke my shredder while I was in school, but it's all right.
That wasn't me.
That was so you.
That wasn't me. No, it was alt-right propaganda, bro.
Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? But we'll either learn to live as brothers or die fighting like fools, man. Because we're all we got, and the human race is the only race. And honestly, we're getting played. We got to stop getting played by these politicians, really. And that's one other place where we need some accountability. So,
and bro, my birthday is Martin Luther King's birthday. We share the same birthday.
Yeah.
I know you don't know that because you never remember my birthday, but
I'm the worst, man.
You got me like a birthday ago or something.
I'm the worst.
We're both the worst. We always come in late. Yours is Halloween or something.
Mine's Halloween. Yeah, mine's Halloween. You know that because it's a holiday. Well, yours is a holiday too, but I'm just. At any rate, man. So I'm glad. So you're not a warlord. You're not.
No, but I kind of want to. Can I keep the title? Just be like
warlord? Can I just have the monarch part? Like, I was like, dang, that's what's up.
Just keep it for like another week.
Declaring independence from the United States into the zone, the autonomous zone. And there was no hostile takeover of the police department. Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm over here like, yo, like I text him like, are you okay, doc? is it going down?
I know it's not as exciting. I wish it was more exciting. I mean, there's a little bit of excitement, but you know what I'm saying? I wish it was more exciting, but not so much.
Okay, that's what's up. Yo, in closing, I usually ask a few questions like, what would you say is your favorite saying, mantra, quote? Anything come to mind?
Honestly, that right now it's hard because I got so many different things going on through my head. But right now, that peaceful one, I'm peaceful, not harmless.
Yeah, that's the slogan of Protect Your Nation. So you're right there. We want to be peaceful but not harmless. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's it, man. Let's see. Do you have a habit that you would want to recommend to people that you think makes you a better person, a better protector, like some you do daily, weekly, or some people could do in life that you think will make them better?
I mean, I have a habit of listening to learn instead of listening to rebuttal. and actually, listening instead of just speaking. Have a habit of speaking to people, because all the things I'm focusing on are the problems that are at hand. So a habit of speaking with people that think differently than myself, and just being a lifelong learner, always trying to learn, trying to challenge myself, trying to shake up my beliefs and check them. But yeah, that's one of my habits. I need to get a better habit of sleep. That's one thing I need to work.
You never slept, man. I don't know what you got, like nighttime superpowers.
No, I think it's something in my DNA. There's something there that I don't need as much sleep. I just need to not abuse the fact that I don't need as much sleep. Because when I go for like a week without it, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, you have it more. I only need 5 hours, but you got no. What was the other one? How do you want to be remembered?
As a warlord. No.
The new Wakanda son.
Yeah, right. They call me Killmonger over here.
Right.
No, I mean, just honestly, as I was, just a human trying, just like all of us. I hope that I'm not trying to be a martyr, so I feel like I have a bunch of other things I need to accomplish, and I hope I'll be remembered by all of those things.
Yeah. No, 100%. What are you up to these days, and where can people find you?
You find me just RAZ Simone, RAZ SIMONE, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that, Google. You might find some interesting things nowadays. YouTube, all that stuff. And I was up to, doing real estate investing, running programs for kids, I was running some intern programs for one of these private schools out here as well, trying to bridge the gaps between like these super rich private school kids and then these kids that don't have much at all. And all those things I've been doing for free. And all of that stuff got on pause. I'm an inventor, working on a few different apps and things, but all of that stuff got on pause when this happened, because I felt like, people are going wild in the streets. People are going wild in the tweets. People are going wild everywhere. So let me go out here and make sure that I'm, holding stuff down and protecting people and being a part of this movement for accountability for our whole nation, just accountability for everyone. And that's, myself included. I'm the furthest thing from someone that wants to be a monarch or anything like that, because I just believe that everyone should have accountability. If you don't, then that, even if you're a great person, now that's when you start becoming corrupt and messing up. And the other question I was gonna have is that I don't understand all these terms. This is like my first time hearing antifa or like shit like that. I don't know. Can you school me on what that means real quick before we get off?
So antifa, Antifa stands for, I think it's like anti-fascist. However, they are an anarchist group. So essentially what they want to do is destroy the government, and they want it to be like straight up lawless, like the people rule. Essentially like what it is in Iraq, what it is in these third world countries, where it's like there's no government, mankind just does what they want, and it's totally what they consider totally free. Essentially, they're just like the first layer of essentially a coup that would overthrow America. So
is anyone like outright saying they're anti? Like, is there a spokesperson talking about their views, or is it kind of more an idea?
Right now, it's more like it isn't more like right now it is a terrorist organization. That there's lots of rumors that they're funded by, the left, and they get funded from Europe and things like that. But they're the guys that are dressed all in black that have been hiding out inside of the peaceful protests and pretending like they're civilians, but they're the ones running out, breaking windows, lighting things on fire, and trying to cause more tension to push us into a civil war.
I kind of think that that's bullshit because everyone is dressed in black. I literally told people to dress in black. Yeah. Like everyone's dressed in black. There's a whole Black Bloc movement because remember WTO? Black Lives Matter. Right. Everyone's coming out in black because of Black Lives Matter. There was the WTO stuff, and that started like the Black Bloc, or they got that from London, where crowds were just like everyone wear black just in case, So it's just uniform, In China, that's what they're doing too. So it's like uniform, so people can't tell what's going, what's going on.
But notice there's a trend there. So I would tell you research it, look up George Soros and all that stuff, because there's a lot of data out there about it. But their mission
I
is
just feel like it might be a part of that division stuff that we were talking about in the propaganda. I will research that more though, because this is literally the first time that I'm hearing about this. But because when I'm in those crowds, I'm not seeing anyone that's on some antifa. Like, I think that most of those people that are like masked, like, well, first off, everyone's masked up because it's COVID-19, except for me. You know, but
because we're free thinkers. I'm like, look, dog, is a 90% survival rate. Nothing with a 90% survival rate is going to kill me. Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, like everyone's got some kind of mask on or something like that. Everyone is wearing black, and then the little guys that are running into that were, it was like I think 2 days of that, like running in and burning stuff, and then it stopped. You know, but the people that are doing that stuff, they're not organized. They're not.
Are they locals, or are they locals? Like, do people know who they are? So
I think that there's some randos and some local. I don't know, you know. But what I think is like there's no even trying to organize. Organization. It would be, to me, it's like if they could organize, especially these young ass like whatever the fucks, that would be more surprising than us landing on Uranus. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like mayhem out there. Well, look into it, research it. But basically, what the organization is known for is sliding into peaceful protests and causing
disturbing the peace.
They're essentially, it's like an insurgency. It's like they bust in.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they just act like they're with everybody else, and then they cause issues. So yeah, man, so the word Antifa, that's where it comes from. That's kind of the whole thing that everyone's like, when Trump's talking about domestic terrorists, that's the primary group he's talking about. And that was one of the other reasons I had to hit you up, because I was like, let me make sure everyone understands.
See, no, I do agree.
Terrorists.
I've seen that type of shit, and and we don't fuck with them, and it does seem kind of like weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But my thing is that I don't think it's a from the people for the people type of a thing. I do think that it's from some kind of like super high up, but I'm not set on thinking that it's from the left. I don't, it seems like to me, it could be from anything. I don't think that it's from a left or right. I think it's from money high up.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, like, we all know that at the top, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? In many ways, there's rich people and there's poor people.
So this is the other thing real quick before you got the logic of that though, because if you're saying anti-fascist, what is fascism?
It's essentially what they're acting like is they're against the opposite of what we have, where we all work for what we have and we all compete. The opposite of that is like communism, Marxism. And so what they're kind of saying they're against, which is the destruction of government and us all having this governmental structure that we have, is kind of, it's an oxymoronic statement, because what they're going to actually usher in is then Marxism, which actually is fascism, which is kind of, it's like pretending like you're not exactly what you are, is kind of what the funny thing about the whole entire movement is. It's kind of one of those ultra deceptive things. Yeah, I mean, it's like I do something and I accuse you of it before you can accuse me of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
See, but what scared me is when I hear Trump saying he's anti-fascist. He's anti-fascist. We need to get him out of here. Because then that insinuates, especially someone that's ignorant to what fascism is or whatever, that insinuates that if we're saying we need to get these anti-fascists out of here, that we need that we stand for fascism. Especially if you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? So my thing, it seems like it's that's super tricky. So it kind of sounds like you're promoting fascism by saying fuck anti-fascists.
Well, that's kind of why I was like, that's kind of why I wanted to hit you up, is because I was sitting there like, here we go. Definition of fascism: a political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as the fascists, obviously, that exalts nation
Hitler.
and often a race above individuals, and that stands for centralized autocratic government headed by dictatorial leaders. Okay.
Yeah.
Severe economic, social regime, and forcible suppression. And essentially it's saying that, these Hitlers and all those guys, they're acting like the government head is that right now, and that they're against that. And what they really want, so they're saying any governmental head is tyranny, is oppressive. We want a completely flat hierarchy of all the people just do whatever they want, and there's no leading and ruling governing head.
Got you.
Either way, when he started talking about, when Trump started talking about, when my man started talking about terrorists and Washington, I was like, yo, I got to get to my cousin and get his story out here before everyone's thinking, you know what I mean? Because there's vigilantes out there. There's all kinds of people out there, man. So I'm glad we're able to have this conversation, because it's, it's good to see you. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Out there making a difference, making Fox News. I was like, that's my cousin right there. Like, that's what's up. Anyway, so I'm really proud of you for all the things you've done. Like I said, y'all, is the only rap that I will still be listening, that I listen to, is my cousin's rap. And it ain't because he's my cousin. It's because he actually talks about things that are actually like old school rap, where like they actually talk about stuff. Like, that's how my cousin is. So check him out. And it's an honor to share blood with you, man. So that's what's up.
Hey, likewise. Appreciate you, cuz.
Absolutely. All right. Yo, until next time, I'll holler at you in a bit, man. We'll see you on the next, next time I go down to Washington.
Most definitely. Yeah, you might want to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I will. All right, brother. Talk to you, guys. All right, bro. Much love. Out.
Much love.
Breaking news coming out of downtown Seattle last night. Former Mayor Steve Jenkins was robbed and assaulted in his home late Thursday evening, right on the heels of rumors that he was profiting off of prisons as a lobbyist.
They don't understand why we trapped. We didn't have a thing, not a scrap. They don't understand why we robbed. We were starving, no one would give us a job. They don't understand all this gold. Once we started succeeding, we had to show them. They don't understand why we go to gangs. We tryna find that unity they stole from slaves. I just bought a top and I already use it. I like that bitch, but I be out here making music. Pushing keys and hitting drums and sticks. I ain't wanna kill that nigga. I know that he's someone's son. Back in 8th grade, I was planning things. I knew I'd be a boss if I applied myself. I started running guns and I acquired wealth. That's when we started up that war with all them guys from 12.
Cause they don't understand why we trap. Cause our community's underserved and we black. They don't understand why we mob. Why the fuck are we respect you or your lives? They don't understand empathy. They've only ever tried their own shoes on their feet. They never understood the way we spoke. We got our own words, we don't need to speak in code.
You probably wonder to yourself why I ain't blown yet. Cause they know I know some shit that you don't know yet. And when I was younger and more naive, I presented plans of growth to some of their teams. Shit is seldomly ever the way it seems. It gets deep. If you dig too deep, could get stuck underground. 6 feet, they was on that water, Dawson's Creek. All 6 seasons, we ain't had no TV, we was on that mud, Shit's Creek.
They don't understand why we trapped. We didn't have a thing, not a scrap. They don't understand why we robbed. We was starving, no one would give us a job. They don't understand all this gold. Once we started succeeding, we had to show them. They don't understand why we go to gangs. We tryna find that unity they stole from slaves. We put up on that grocery store and stole that food. 5 cars full, we couldn't close the door to move. We had all grown up and starved for so long that we overdid it just to trauma bond. Most of my niggas from around back in the day are now dead, schizos, addicts, or they jakes. We was little babies out here on the street. While you was counting sheep, we was trying to stretch a baby from a 3. You a trapper, then you know just what I mean. These scary niggas tone deaf, they couldn't hold a key. but then they go straight to the police and they sing. This shit is crazy, someone pinched me, must be in a dream. They don't understand why we trap. We didn't have a thing, not a scrap. They don't understand why we robbed. We were starving, no one would give us a job. They don't understand all this gold. Once we started succeeding, we had to show 'em. They don't understand why we go to games. We tryna find that unity they stole from slaves.
Experts call them super predators.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
A group of kids who are growing up essentially fatherless, godless, and jobless.
For me, what's more disturbing is the degree to which black people bought into that.
Boom, yo, what up? I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. Hey, listen, in order to get more out of the brand, I want to encourage you to go join us on our social media platforms and join us at protectornation.com. We post different types of content on our different platforms at different times. You'll get blog posts, you'll get videos, you'll get real world combat engagements and things like that. So stay plugged in order to get the most out of the brand. In order to support us, also go to protectornation.com and buy something or join forces with me on Patreon. You'll scroll down the homepage and you'll see the link. Anything you can give counts. You know, think about whatever you would lose in your cushions or like spend on McDonald's this month, $5 a month, whatever it is. That helps us make the world a better place by making good people dangerous. Anyways, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, and I'll see you on the next piece of content, whether it's a video or podcast. Out.